Welcome back, and this time we're going to a competition. It's gonna be my first time taking all 3 horses to a 2-day competition, which means I have 8 rides over the 2 days. It's gonna be so much fun. No, seriously, I'm actually really excited, and I'm so excited to take you along with me. I'll explain as we go along, kind of what I'm hoping to get out of it with each horse, and the kind of 3 separate journeys that they're on. Sorry, I'm a little bit locked up. I'm coming down with something. But that's not going to stop me. It might just stop me from doing this intro today. That's right. So this comp is in Gatton, which is probably in the truck, about 2 hours drive from home. We'll head up on Friday morning, and then I'll ride all the horses there on Friday and wash and plait Maui and Vinnie ready for Saturday, and then I go to compete Maui and Vinnie on Saturday, and then do another training ride with Flynn, and then wash and plait him for Sunday, and then I go to compete all 3 of them on Sunday, so 5 rides on Sunday. So yeah, really big weekend, super excited. This is like the first 2-star of our competition season. And that's about all I got. So here we go. Oh, I'm actually doing this intro after I finish the competition, but I kind of skipped over the packing and arriving videoing and just kind of started when we got there, straight into the action. Yeah, so let's go.
So here I am on Maui. We're just walking around at the back of the arenas, kind of in the warm-up area. So this was Friday, the day before competition. We arrived at about 11. We left home at 8-ish in the morning, and then kind of got the horses settled in and tacked Maui up. The arenas opened at 12, so I went down to ride him then, but there was no one else down there with us, and he wasn't coping very well. So I went back up and waited for some friends to come down with me who were going to ride as well. And he settled a little bit, but it was still a pretty difficult ride. He was pretty spooky, as you can see, and just had a bit of attitude, which wasn't ideal the day before a competition. But we just worked through it. I kind of worked out the specific areas where he was, like every time we go past this one point, he'd have an issue. So once I kind of worked out where those points were, I was able to help him through that a little bit. And I really just focused on trying to get him relaxed, get his head down, and try and alleviate some of the tension that he was feeling in this place that he'd never been before. There was also a lot going on because they were still kind of setting up the arenas. So there were trailers and they were moving around like the white arena edge, as you can kind of see in the background. And he's just not very good at coping with stuff like that because it's still pretty new to him. Even though he is 6, he hasn't been out a whole lot. But as you can see here, he's just starting to settle and get into the rhythm of it. So it did take a while, but in the end, we managed to get some nice work, and we didn't do anything too much. Once I just got him relaxed, I just let him know that that was what I wanted, and we finished the ride on a pretty good note. It just did take a while to get there. So I then washed Maui off and tacked up Vinnie. It's a little bit dark in this indoor, but hopefully you can still see. So Vinnie was also having a little bit of a not so great day. He was just wanting to pull from memory on my right rein, which he does tend to do every now and then. And it was just a bit unfortunate that he wanted to do it the day before competition. He has been to this venue a few times before, so he was all right with that. It was just, a bit of a normal, or not normal, but not a totally out of character training thing for him that he wanted to be on that right rein. So rather than focusing on like all the movements in the test that we had the next day, because I know, as long as he's going well, we can do those, I just focus more on getting him evenly through the contact. And in the end, we did do that. As you can see, he's going much nicer there. He just got pretty sweaty in the process, and so did I. I also got a little bit frustrated during the ride, and more so because it can be a bit embarrassing when you're like in an arena with lots of other riders, and they're probably doing their own thing, but it's also kind of in the back of your mind that they might be watching you and watching what you're doing with your horse, and that makes it just that little bit harder to make corrections that are obviously visible to other people. But so I just did my best, and we got there in the end. This is our little setup. We had some rain the week before, so the ground outside our stables was pretty wet, which wasn't ideal. There's Mum with her purple gum boots. So then it was Vinnie's turn for a bath. The day before a competition, I always give them a good scrub, clean their socks off, wash their manes and their tails, and make sure they are nice and clean and shiny. I also like to, after I've washed them, I scrape off the sudsy water and then hose them. And scraping them off before you hose them off just helps the hosing process go a little bit faster because you've already got some of the soap off. And so then it was time to ride Flynn. And I was very grateful that my coach was able to give me a lesson and help me with this ride because he was very spicy. This footage Mum actually only started filming after I'd already been on for a while. I did lunge him first and he had heaps of energy. And then we walked over to the arena and my coach had us on the lunge line as I was walking over. Sorry, not the lunge line, the lead rope. So she was standing right next to us, and that was very useful because there were a couple moments he felt like he wanted to blow up a little bit, and then she just stayed there and talked me through getting him to just concentrate on me and stay calm and keep his little brain together. He was really good. It wasn't anything, he wasn't trying to be naughty. He was just super excited and lots of adrenaline because this is a new place for him, and this horse absolutely loves the work that he does, and he was just so excited to be out in a new place and riding around. As you can see here, we're now riding in a bit of a bigger area, and he's going much better. He definitely did calm down by the end. Riding him out at competitions, I actually, as much as it can be a little nerve-wracking at times, I do love it because when he's so full of energy, he's not trying to get out of work. He's just very happy to let me direct the energy to where I want him to use it, which is obviously holding his frame up and being uphill. Whereas sometimes riding him at home, he can tend to be a bit on the lazy side, and so I have to, encourage him a lot to use his body right, and that can be very exhausting. So riding him at comps is very different, and ideally one day I'll be able to produce the energy and adrenaline that he has when we're away, when I want it, and be able to control it a little bit better. But as you can see, we just worked through it, and I was quite happy with him by the end of the ride. Flynn is also only 4, and he was just in the prelim this weekend, and so that's why he can be a little bit spicy. Walking back to the stables. He likes to look at everything, and he's also very big, and Mum clearly couldn't keep up with us. But yeah, that's just going into the stable. And this here that's Vinnie and Maui, and they're both in their show rugs because they've already had their baths, so they're nice and clean. And then this is Flynn on the end. And he is going to go straight to his drink. He always has a drink after his ride. Sometimes I'll put molasses in it, but sometimes I don't, and he'll always drink it. So then after I hosed off Flynn and gave them all dinner, it was time to plait Vinnie and Maui because they were the two competing on Saturday. It was quite dark and the lighting in the stable wasn't great, so I was pretty proud that I managed to even get these plaits done. My eyes were a little bit sore when I finished though. But that is the reality sometimes.
So, just wanted to do a bit of a check-in, night before competition day / post last training day feels. 3 pretty tough rides today at the competition grounds, which is good. I normally like to get a ride on the grounds the day before I compete. If it's a long enough competition. So feeling a little flat, not gonna lie. I'm absolutely wrecked. So gonna get a good sleep tonight, and then tomorrow got the pre-St. George on Vinnie and Maui's 2 novice tests. And yeah, so just gonna treat it as a new day, get on with it, and reset my expectations to what I know they can do, and just keep a cool head about, like, I need to keep my cool if something goes wrong. Particularly with Maui and Vinnie, because the way that their like arguments, I guess you could call them, show themselves, I can find quite frustrating sometimes, especially with Vinnie's because it's so repetitive, and with Maui, same, it's just repetitive, like his spooks are the same thing every time we go past it, or anyway, I'm just so tired right now, so I'm gonna go to bed. Despite feeling flat now, I am still very excited, very glad to be here. I was absolutely buzzing this morning. It's the first competition of the season, and yeah, just so happy to be here. And the boys have been going well at home, so I know they've got it in them, so just hoping that we get to show off in the ring what we've been doing at home, because that is the goal, isn't it? But we'll see. We'll do our best.